good friends. And one fine day, I walk into a friend's house, and all of three, I have a child right in front of me, and she introduces him as, "This is my son, Chinmay." And he looks up at me with a big gada on his shoulder and says, "No, I'm Hanuman." And I look at her and I said, "Are you serious? He's Hanuman?" "No, no, that's his character. He is Chinmay." So I looked at him and asked him, "Are you Chinmay?" He says, "No, I'm Hanuman." And after that, for around 2 hours, he went all around us with the gada on his hand. And I waited for a moment when he would put it down. But he was so attached to his gada that he thought he was Hanuman, and that was his Ram Leela. So his story started from then onwards. And today, I have a 15-year-old young man here who's written his first book called
The last 21.
24 hours
21.
on 20?
21.
Sorry, 21 hours on, it's a thriller, and it's on the president of, it's about the White House and about the president of United States. The most surprising factor here is this boy has never been to the States. He's written a book without actually going there, and it's a very interesting journey which I want him to tell us, because he'll tell us how he learned about how to write a story from a place where he's never been. So here I have Chinmay Patgaonkar for you. So we're gonna have a chat, and like any teenager, he's done all the things that he should do and shouldn't do, and he's going to share some anecdotes with us about his entire storytelling journey. The first question I will ask him is, why? Why did you start writing?
So, first off, thank you so much for having me here. And the question was, what made me love stories?
Yes.
So, as you all heard about the Hanuman anecdote, I had multiple phases where I really thought I was a certain character. And so, from Hanuman, evolved to Chota Bheem. From there, evolved to all the Marvel characters, then to all the action movies, and now I have written a book with multiple characters.
His last chapter of the book has 44 characters. So the last chapter of the book goes through 44 characters, and all of them have been written from a mind of a 14-year-old. When did you start reading?
Well, good question, because I was never a good reader. To be honest, I hated reading, and till the age of 10 or 11, I used to read, those comic books, basically. And after that, my father, he gave me a challenge of reading 6 books in 6 weeks. And my family is, obsessed. It's a family of obsessed readers. So that's when that's when I took up the challenge, and I really wanted to, take that challenge and, complete it till the end. But little did I know I would end up, this challenge will help me end up writing a book. I wouldn't imagine that.
So can you tell us a funny anecdote or funny anecdotes that happened during your storytelling or story writing journey?
Well, so when I was, so I can't write by sitting at one place. After 1 hour, I'll sit in the bedroom. 1 hour later, I'll sit in the living room to write. And if I don't know what to write, or if I don't know how to put my words into the Word document, I'll take I still have those toy guns, the Nerf guns. So I took my Nerf gun and moved around the house and, shot those imaginary, villains. And, thought, I was this certain character who had to shoot, basically. So that's one of what I still do. I'm writing my second book, and that's the same thing I'm doing.
So he's still interested in writing, so that should be an inspiration for parents that don't think that just because your child does not read at the moment, he would not read later or would be excited enough to write a book. Who motivated you the most to write a book?
Well, when I first told my parents that, hey, I'm writing a book, they thought it was a passing desire. As long as I was not playing those really violent and volatile video games, they were happy. And they had no issues with me writing. So, I don't know, I guess, what kept me going, what never made me stop was, I think my grandmother, my nanny, and she told me you should never give up. You should never, no matter what I do, I should never give up. And yeah, I guess. And also, I really, I couldn't stop. I didn't want to put an end to those imaginary shootouts that I had in my brain. So that's what also kept me going. And one thing I'm still, I don't do it anymore. But when I was writing, I used to have, music on, and I used to eat those Oreos, constantly munching Oreos. So that gave me the energy.
So Oreos was his inspiration. How did you figure out writing a book about a place which you have never visited?
I honestly, I'm thinking of, okay, I've never been to the US. And I realized that now, right after my book was published. Because by that time, I was doing so much research on US that I felt like I'm a citizen there.
And how did you figure out the places? What tool did you use to figure out the places?
So when to figure out the places, I used Google Maps and Google Earth, and I used to zoom in that satellite mode. It has a feature on that. I used to keep zooming in, finding out how much distance is covered between let's say the FBI building to a certain place. And my mother, who didn't know what I was doing, she thought I was doing my geography homework.
So she didn't understand why he was suddenly interested in geography. So she thought that that's his favorite subject, and she for a long time thought that there was a project in geography that he was working on, because nobody, absolutely nobody, took him seriously when he decided and stated that he's going to write a book. What's your next book about?
It's a secret.
Oh, that's a secret. And how he was sharing with me about what his friends thought about authors and what they think about you. So if you could shed some light on that.
Yeah, so when I told my friends I'm writing a book, and 2 years later, when in physical school I showed them the copy of the book, they thought, "Are you serious? Did you do it for real? Did you steal someone else's book and put your name on the label?" Because they thought I as a person, I'm an extremely extroverted person, and most people have this misconception that writers tend to lock their rooms and just stay silent and at one place. That was not the case. So I broke that stereotype by telling them that even in spite of being extremely extroverted and hyped up and energized, I still can write a book.
Okay, have you had a writer's block? Did you get stuck somewhere and needed to figure out how to move on?
Well, I've had multiple writers' blocks, and I mean, I had Googled, how to cure a writer's block, but then I saw, the most answers on Google may be accurate, may not be accurate, but it said that said keep reading. So I kept reading. I kept reading my book from the start. But again, the playing with the guns, gave me ideas as well. So that could cure my writer's block.
What was your Gandhiji phase?
That's the most embarrassing story for me. But so basically, I was still in that Hanuman phase, and there was this thing in school, an event on 2nd October, I think, and we were told to dress up, all of us were told to dress up as Gandhi. And what will a 2-year-old know about Gandhi? Especially someone who had a certain weapon in his hand, a toy weapon. What will that person know about non-violence? So then I took that stick in the air, I said, Jai Hanuman, and everyone started laughing.
So from Hanuman to Gandhi and back to Hanuman. And who inspires you the most in life?
Well, there's many, I'm going to say, but I think, well, I don't know who inspires me in real life at all.
So he's still searching for that inspiration, and I'm really glad that you said that, because we always believe that there is somebody who always inspires us. But here is an example of motivation and inspiration coming from within. And I would really like to state about him is that so most of my friends think that because I'm an educator, I have all the answers that schools don't have and parents don't have. So I get these frantic calls, and I had one of these calls from his mom saying that, I don't know what he's going to do. I don't understand half of the things he says. And I know the CBSE, and now he's into the IB, and I don't think he studies, and I don't think he learns. And there was only one thing that I said to her, and I said, leave your children alone. I said, leave them alone, give them the resources, and they will figure out what to do. So now the smart guns have, the moment she says that I'm worried about your education, they tell her, Akshada Masi has said that leave us alone and we'll figure out what we need to do. And that is what I had to say to parents today, because our kids know they have the strength. What they need is just a support to achieve what they want or what they envisage. So be that support, be that inspiration, or see that they inspire themselves to achieve what they want. So thank you, Chinmay. It was sweet and nice talking to you. Chinmay's books are available upstairs, and he would be available in the library right now. Please pick up a copy and get it inscribed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
One moment. Mr. Chawla has a question for him.
So I'll go first. Thank you so much, Ashwin. So I believe all writers take up eccentric characters from their real life and, spice them up a little more, exaggerate them a little more, and put them in their books. So how many of your family members have landed in your book is my question.
Well, my sister right there, if she had given me the permission to, write her official name, I wouldn't, not her own name, but, so I kind of spiced up her character.
Let's see how much of spice? What is the original and what have you made it?
I guess 1 kg.
1 kg of spice.
1 kg of what? Saffron or clove or ginger?
1 kg of imagination.
Super.
Because my sister's personality, so she's very sharp, and she never gives up. No matter what happens, she's not gonna give up. So, and she can be really extremely, I don't know how to say this, but extremely cool. I mean, she is cool, yeah. But she's really strong. So I thought, I wish I could, officially say that this character is based on her, but yeah, she said no, so.
You respect privacy. That's important. Yeah. Yes.
So, there are younger children over here, 6, 7, 8. They may not be able to articulate how you wrote it when you were 14, or maybe they will when they turn 14. But they still have stories in their mind which they may want to. So, any suggestions for them to be able to even tell a story, or imagine a story, or imagine characters? How the process that went through your mind, if you could share with the younger ones.
Well, for kids, this will be a little boring because this piece of advice will be a little boring because they already write a lot in their notebooks. So telling them to write down the story will be again. Yeah, sure. You can tell it to your parents, to your friends. Yeah, just keep expressing basically. That's what I can. That's what I'll say. You can write it down. You can tell anyone. You can just imagine. Yeah, anything that if, as long as you can express. Yeah,
Sing it,
you
yeah.
can sing it. You can rap it. As long as you can express like the words, it works. Yeah, as long as you can express whatever stories that are boggling inside your head, you are a good storyteller.
Anybody else wants to pop a question to our young author?
What's your favorite book?
There's many, but I'll tell you who's my favorite author. That is Jeffrey Archer.
Uh, Chinmay, you mentioned that you were reading comic books in the starting, and then you were challenged by your dad to read novels. Why didn't you write a comic book than writing a huge, big, I can see that thick book, thick novel? Why so? Because you were interested in comics earlier.
Yeah, so this is what I would say is that I don't know those proper techniques of drawing, but what I would also add to that would be that I can't restrict someone's imagination just with writing, just portraying a character in a certain way just by drawing them. So I just mentioned this is the description of the person. You're free to imagine who this person is.
I have another question. Sorry, so sorry. No, please, please, please go on.
So for you, it's a Kindle or it's a physical book?
Both actually.
Both. Which one first?
Sorry.
If I was to give you an option of reading a book on a Kindle or a physical book,
A
which
physical
one would you go
book.
for? Physical.
What do you feel about graphic novels?
Well, I don't read them anymore since I started, reading those proper, like not proper, but like conventional books. So I don't know what to say about that. I haven't read a graphic novel in like 5 years.
Okay, but do you believe that just because you read graphic novels, you're not a serious reader?
I wouldn't say that because there's a lot of good graphic novels. Like I guess some of you all watch anime or something. There's good graphic novels like that. So that doesn't mean you're a bad reader or anything. As long as you're reading anything, like, you're a good reader.
So, which are the you have a question? Oh, she wants to ask a question. Yeah, please.
How many books have you written till now?
One.
So I wanted to ask, since they just mentioned you've never visited US, so what made you choose US as a country of your subject? Why not a country you visited?
Well, good question. I never thought of this before, actually, because I don't know. So one of the books that my
Right.
dad gave to me was a Team of Rivals, and I was really inspired by reading the U.S. history. That drove me to read the U.S. history. So, and that's what made me, understand that this is what I can do. I make a.
So I don't know. That's a thought. And if you think of the movies that come, Air Force One or the assassination, you always look at the U.S. right? Somehow the gun thing took me to the U.S. So I thought maybe you were inspired by some book that you read or a movie that
Yeah.
you saw. Because if you look towards India, it would have been Gandhi and non-violence, right?
Something I would not have preferred because I've been around with toy weapons.
Yeah, right. Actually, you have a question? Okay.
Have you illustrated any books?
No, not yet. Thanks for the idea.
So she's going to be an inspiration now. We're quickly going to move into our. It's okay? Okay. So, any more questions? Anybody, any kids who would like to ask, who would like to get inspired, who would like to be motivated?
Yeah.
So that's a secret. The first one is a thriller, the second one is still a secret.
Okay, so on your writing journey, were there days when you were at the end of the rope and, what is that one thing that really kept you going?
Well, what really kept me going was again the guns around. If to be honest, I really wanted to give up on it because I was really tired. Because it took me 2 years to write it, and in the first year I felt like I don't want to do this anymore. But then I thought, what? I don't think anyone has written such kind of a story in such a plot, like the way I have imagined. No one has, because I didn't tell everyone, okay, this is what I'm writing. I just told them I'm writing a thriller novel. I thought, this is a unique story I really need to tell, and that's what kept me going.
So it was the secret that you had to reveal towards the end.
Yes.
I think the youth of the author is inspiring so many people to ask questions.
I have a question. So you just said that you took 2 years to finish this novel. Did the idea for the next one that you're writing, which is a secret, did it come instantly while writing it? Or did you take a pause and you had some ideas building in, explored something, and then the idea?
Well, a different storyline, a different setting came along. Well, like when I ended the book on 31st, I still remember the date and time. 31st July 2021 or 22. Yeah, 21.
21.
Yeah. And at 3 p.m. I was done. That's it. I'm done writing my first novel. Now there's another one that instantly came to my mind. And yeah, the next morning I just started, building the story.
So as you finished one story, you were ready to write the next one. You had the inspiration.
Yeah.
Now I can do it and I'm ready to do that. Great.
Yeah, just give us 2 minutes. But there's something very interesting we want to show you on the screen. And we're just trying to. I still think the biscope was better because you could, handle it and get it started on, and you didn't have to depend on 4 more things for it to work. But that's technology for you. So I'm going to ask him to say something about this because that's very interesting. Can you tell us who helped you do it?
Well, I made this, like, I edited this entire book trailer on my own. And yeah, that's all.
So the trailer for this has also been created by him. This helps us understand how tech savvy and how intuitive our kids are today. If they can create something through words, they also can create the same thing to graphics. And this was solely done by him, edited by him, and the music also has. Oh,
No.
the music somebody helped you?
No, I kind of took it like on Shutters, like on the software.
So he created his own music on the software. So it was not only just the book that he wrote, but also the video that he created for advertising the book. So we have a multi-talented young author here, and we are so glad he spent some time with us. Now,
What we decided was Chinmay is going to be here. Yes, and so we'll have his signing and you all can take the books after this session.